Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. This is the King of Hell, King the Conqueror, also known as the King, also known as King. Okay, let me start from the beginning. How you guys doing? I hope everybody's doing good. I hope everybody's doing well. And this here, if it's your first time joining my channel, this is the King of Hell, also known as King the Conqueror, also known as the High Evolutionary, amongst other things. Okay, so the thing about the problem with somebody commented on my video that I did yesterday, and I feel like it's the Illuminati trying to trigger me. I'm pretty sure that this person's probably it's probably Illuminati and he's trying to trigger me. Um, because I severely doubt that any real person that listens to my video, even though he didn't listen to the end, it doesn't even matter. I severely doubt that somebody that actually listens to my video, the only thing that he got out of those video was a religious aspect, because I give a lot of power. I'm not trying to blow my own horn here, but I give a lot of power. I give a tremendous amount of power. Of course, it's up to the person to accept that power or not, but I give a lot of power. Um, the thing, but I feel like it's an interesting concept. I feel like it's an interesting concept, and I want to delve deeper into this. The concept of Jesus being you. The thing is, the Bible is a construct, has been created for a construct of control over society. And you might be like, no, that's not true. It's parables, yada, 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 blah, blah, blah. Jesus had parables. Not everybody had parables. There's only one character in the whole entire Bible that speaks in parables. The other ones do not. So, the concept of control, which has worked, by the way, and it's very clear to see that it worked. Now, mind you, the thing is, you might see it as a negative. Control might be a negative mindset, but God is trying to control you. Whether you see it on a negative way or a positive way, God is controlling you. God is giving you rules to work within. So there is a system of control there. And you can't really say no, because if you say no, then that means you revoke God as your God. So you have to, if you are with God, then you have to understand that God controls you and you do not control God. I say that you control God. Me, I've made a bunch of videos saying that you are the one controlling God. But that is blasphemous and profane thing to say. But it's only blasphemous and profane because you don't understand what it means. You see, if you believe in the God of the Bible gave you rules. And he also, if you follow the rules, he'll also give you reward. What are those standards for? Those standards are for a standard of living. He expects you to live in a specific way. So that's control. That means God of the Bible has control over you and everyone else. He's the one with the control. He's the one in control. And when you say God is the one and only and no other gods before him, that means you give absolute control to everything, of everything, to him. You are accepting that he's taking control of everything. So he is controlling you. You are being controlled. Whether you see it on a negative or positive mindset, at the end of the day, the word used for that mindset or that lifestyle is control. And you can't say the contrary. If you're a religious person, if you're a Christian, if you are a Catholic, you cannot say the contrary. God controls you, and you accept that God controls you. You accept that God has control over your life and your soul and your spirit. You relinquish, you give it up to God to fix things in your life. You give it up to God to make things happen in your life. He is in control. So, the thing about Jesus is Jesus being you, right? Or God being you, and things like that. Jesus being you. You have to understand that Jesus is an archetype. So you understand that Jesus is you, right? But you need to understand that Jesus is an archetype. Like I am Jesus. I'm being Jesus right now. What is the Jesus archetype? The Jesus archetype is a teacher, is a spiritual teacher. So I'm being Jesus right now. I'm not Jesus, but I'm being Jesus. So it's only an archetype. I'm Jesus right now because I'm giving you teachings. Some people understand those teachings. Some people accept those teachings. And then there's a mass of people that do not accept those teachings. There's a mass of people that will throw stones at me for these teachings, for these for this knowledge, for these statements, for this idea. There will be people that will cast stones to me. So, and that is the archetype of Jesus. It's a spiritual teacher that just lives his spiritual life. That's it. That's it. So when you're saying Jesus is you, you're not really saying anything. It doesn't mean anything. It's benign. The Jesus archetype is a benign element in society. Spiritual teachers have always existed. There's been spiritual teachers in all the countries all over the world before Jesus and after Jesus. And it'll keep happening when we die. 100 years, 50 years, 20 years later, when we die today, if we all died today, there would still be spiritual teachers. And all those spiritual teachers are Jesus archetypes. The problem here is people think that Jesus is intricately connected to the God of the Bible. And it's not. It has nothing to do with that. Being Jesus has nothing to do with the God of the Bible. Absolutely nothing. It's like the devil, right? These are actual human interactions that they're speaking of in those stories. They're speaking of actual human interaction. They're speaking of, if your mindset is like this, then you will face this kind of contrast and you will see these kinds of things and you will be able to do these kinds of things, blah, blah, blah. The Bible is a construct of control. This is why the Bible is very dangerous, because it's taking away a person that is not aware of these things, that is not self aware. A person that is not self aware will immediately accept the Bible as the truth. And what happens then? Well, they lose their own power. I mean, it's still there, but they do not have control over it. Someone else does. And when you realize these things, so at first you become Jesus, and then you become the devil. You become a demon. Why would you become a demon? That's what happened to Jesus. Jesus became a demon. Jesus became a demon because the idea of demonizing somebody, Jesus was already a demon. Jesus was already a demon when he was around. He was already a demon because what happens to demons? The same thing that happened to Jesus is the same thing that happens to a demon. If you go back to Genesis, Lucifer is cast away. God throws stones at him for giving people knowledge. God is angry at Lucifer for giving humans knowledge. So God is angry at another God or a spiritual leader. He's angry at a spiritual leader, casts him away, throws stones at him, exiles him for giving people knowledge. So flash forward 2,000 years later, or a couple of 10,000 years later, flash forward 10,000 years later, you have Jesus, who is a spiritual leader, giving teachings to men, and then the empire, the world superpower known as Rome, throws stones at him, casts him away, exiles him, ostracize him, deem him a criminal. Lucifer is a criminal. Jesus tells lies. Lucifer is the prince of lies. I'm not saying Lucifer is Jesus. What I'm saying is it's a normal process to be demonized. It's part of life. it's a cycle. It's a cycle of life. The other day I made a video telling you, like, what does the word heaven mean? Does anybody know what the word heaven mean? The word heaven means a shirt. It means a shirt. It's a French, it comes from the French word chemise. That's what it says. That's the meaning behind the word heaven. It just means shirt. Holy. What does holy mean? That means you're holy. You're saying, oh, this person is a holy being. I don't think people are aware that the word holy and wholeness are the same. I think people think that the word holy has some kind of magical connotation to it. No, you're just saying, when you're saying that somebody's holy, which you are right, the person is holy. But, I would say divine. But divine would be more the word that you're looking for. But holy actually means the person is complete. He's a whole person. It has nothing to do with God. Being holy has nothing to do with God. Heaven has nothing to do with God. It has something to do with yourself. Heaven is something that you wear, and being holy is something that you are. Is when you're yourself. So Jesus was a holy man. Jesus was himself. He wasn't XYZW. He was himself. He was full of himself. So we spend our time trying to be like Jesus, but we don't understand who Jesus is or what Jesus is. And we don't understand what God is or who he is, the one of the Bible, of course. What I'm trying to say is that most of these words that we are using right now, most of these religious concepts that we are literally killing ourselves over mean absolutely nothing. They mean nothing. Nothing at all. And it's only a select group of people that have created this secularism in order to maintain control over society, in order to herd the sheep inside of a barn, inside of their enclosure. Because whether I like it or not, at the end of the day, we need to be controlled. At the end of the day, we need to be controlled, because if we do not have a system of control, we are lost. We will be nothing but animals living in the wild. My problem is not with the system of control itself. My problem is the how the system is controlled. And the way that it is controlled is through devious and mischievous deeds. I call myself Lucifer because I believe that I am the master of this realm. Lucifer is the highest level of evolution, the high evolutionary. You cannot attain a more higher level of spiritualism than Lucifer. He is the role model. He is the image. God is a process, not a tool. He's a process that you have to go through. Lucifer is a lot more than what we think he is. It's a cover-up. It's a cover-up. It's a game of hide and go seek. Everybody's hiding behind something. And you're the one that has to discover what those things are. Me, the only thing I can do is tell you that this is a game and tell you the rules of the game, but you still have to play the game. I can't play the game for you. I'm not in your skin. As much as I would like you, I'm not in your skin. But I kind of am playing the game for you too. I kind of am playing the game for you too. I'm telling you the rules, I'm telling you the game, and I'm playing the game at the same time for you. Which is what Jesus did. We're playing the game of hide and go seek. So Lucifer, or Satan, as some people call him, is the result of freedom, is the result of being self-aware, being living free, and understanding now, as in understanding plural. You are a scholar and a gentleman, right? You are ascending. You're going through an ascension of your true self, of true knowing. And you're leaving behind the coiled snake. You're leaving behind, you're shedding your skin like a snake. And you have to peel, every year you have to shed some of that skin off, because they're not needed for you anymore. And even when you ascend, there's new things that you need to learn. There's always new things. So when you accept that there's always something new that you need to learn, you are like a snake shedding its skin. So right now, the first order of business would be to relinquish religion. The first order of business would be to relinquish religion, to stop taking these things so seriously, because they are not. It's a joke. It's a horrible, mischievous joke. And it's not for you. It's not for your benefit. I'm not saying that certain rules in the Bible are not acceptable, like, loving thy neighbor, blah, 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 blah. Of course, there's some things that are just fucking obvious. But that's the thing. They're obvious. You didn't need, that's the thing about things being obvious, you didn't need someone to tell you in order to figure that out. Even if you're not the brightest tool in the shed, you would have figured that out sooner or later. These superpowers put you inside of an enclosure where they make you they put you inside of a controlled environment to try to make you feel as if you're not good enough. They put you inside of a controlled environment to make you feel like you're not smart enough. That without them, you won't ever be anything, just like God. God doesn't accept you being more than him. He doesn't. God does not accept the cycle of life. God does not accept his own death. He intends or would like to be eternal, but nothing is eternal. Everything dies and then reborn, like a snake shedding its skin. A true God of all, is like Odin. A true God would be like Odin. Odin lives for 5,000 years and then he has to go to sleep. He dies. He literally dies, and then the world shapes itself however it's supposed to shape itself, and then he comes back alive again for another 5,000 years. Odin lets himself. Odin has all the wisdom. Odin has all the wisdom. That's why he has one eye, because he sacrificed his eye to be all wise, to be all knowing. That's why he lets himself die after a couple of thousand years. Because he understands that the more he pushes against life to get his own way, he's actually suspending life from continuing on. The God that we have wants us to be suspended in animation, in spiritual animation, suspending the spiritual's suspended animation. That's what our God wants from us. He's fighting to remain forever and ever and ever and ever, which will never happen. It's a delusional and irrational expectation that he has, because he is not without darkness. And this is one of his greatest weaknesses. And you can see that trait in the people that you can see that trait in most people. People that are in power, they have that trait in them where they wish or they hope to stay alive forever, because they cannot cope with their own demise, because they are not one with that which is all. When you are one with that which is all, you understand that there is no death, there is no end, there is no beginning, there just is. There's just an ism. Repeating a cycle over and over again is humanity's insecurity about death. Humanity will have to die in order for humanity to progress. It is a normal thing. It is a natural thing. It's actually even beautiful. Through the darkness, you will see the light. Through the light, you will see the darkness. We are following the light. So what we see is darkness. Of course, you must have balance, but we are not balanced. Lucifer, or Satan, however you choose to call him, is not an integral part of knowledge and teachings. And that is where the mistake is. That is where you see that something very horribly wrong is going on. Is where you see that there is a conspiracy happening. Because if we were truly balanced, if this God that we have created, actually was balanced also, there would be no pointing fingers at one and each other. Like I always say, for me, like if it was up to me, school would be like Hogwarts. Hogwarts is a perfect balance. You have math, you have light, and you have darkness. There's ghosts flying everywhere. You got griffins and all kinds of shit, whatever. There's light and dark entities inside of the school. They are balanced. There's no pointing fingers. There's no pointing fingers. So, but of course, that is personal up to you, because you have to understand that this entity, just like you understand that Satan is a powerful dragon that can burn everything in its path, you have to understand it is the same for the God that you devote yourself to. He is dangerous, and you should treat him the same way you treat Satan, Lucifer, because they're one and the same. The only difference is one does not hide from it. And you have to understand these things too. He's a child. He is a child. You have to be careful, because he will lie to you if you let him. He is a process, not to say a tool. Some of us can use God as a tool, but you have to be very brave to do so. You have to be very brave to understand and use them in that particular fashion. The thing about honesty is the devil can't really do that to you, because you already expect that from him. So he can't lie. There's no point in lying. If you already know that I'm going to kill you, I don't need to act like I'm not going to kill you. And that's the biggest difference between God and Lucifer. God will not tell you that he will fucking kill you. He will act as if he's not going to kill you. But he's just sitting there with a knife behind his hand, smiling at you. Acting like everything is all good when it's not. You have to understand that all those things are energies. Lying is an energy. There are actual gods of lies. Loki is considered a god of lie, a god of mischief. These things have energy. Evil is an energy. Everything is an energy. Everything is an energy. But you have to understand where those energies come from, or where those energy actually sit in this day and age. In this day and age, you have to understand where those energies actually sit. We have not compartmentalized. Some of us have compartmentalized those energies towards the darkness, like sexual assault, pedophilia, things of that matter. Those things do not sit in the darkness. They actually sit in the light. They actually sit in the light because there are certain things that humans cannot control. We are capable of controlling a lot of things, but there's a couple of things that humans cannot control. And when it comes to like specific energies, energies that's always been around, right? They are what they are. They sit where they sit, and the thing about humans is that we are capable of harnessing those energies, but we did not create those energies. Those energies was already there. Those conscious beings were already there. It's what is inside of us. This is the reason why we are a universe. Inside of us is a universe, and inside of us we are cosmic beings, right? We're cosmic beings, and inside of us there are thousands, millions of stars. All those stars represent specific energies. Whether we are aware of it or not, whether we actually use those energies or not, it doesn't fucking matter. We are like a beach, and our emotions and feelings and ideas wash up to the shore being reality, right? But the thing is, you can push back against the tide if you feel like it. If you feel something rising, you can push it back and let other things come forward. So those energies that are stars living inside of our inner self universe are like tides rushing towards us. We don't control those stars, but if we choose, we can channel those stars. Because some of these stars, like I said, there are millions of stars inside of us. So these energies don't actually reach us. Some do because of the way that we live, the things that we eat, uh, the things that we think about, the habits that we have in our everyday life. Some of these energies come forward because of those habits, and the others don't. They're lingering, and they're trying to come to the shore, but they won't make it, and they don't have to make it. It doesn't fucking matter. It doesn't matter. That is completely useless to think about. What's important is the understanding that you have access to those energies, to those tides, to those waves, that you are a beach. You are an entire universe. You are a Garden of Eden. You are heaven. So heaven, if you are heaven, if heaven is your shirt that you wear on your body, then heaven is subjective to the individual. Or is it? If a tree falls in the woods and nobody's here to hear it, nobody's there to hear it, does it still make a sound? Who knows? I'm not going to tell you. I'm not telling. But what I am going to say is that certain energies, you might live in denial of those things. You might want to live in the denial of those things as much as you want and stay super religious and be fucking fanatical about the shit. That's your fucking business. But you're not going to walk around here thinking that you're better than gods, actual living, breathing gods. You're not going to walk around here thinking that you're just going to do whatever the fuck you want whenever the fuck you want. I'm going to tell you that right now. I'm gonna tell you, got another thing coming, bucko. That's not how this shit works. But the system makes you believe that that's how it works. You see, evil has a tendency to always makes itself known and always tries to suppress you. But the thing is, nobody challenges the evil. Is that really true? Is it true that evil is uncontested? Isn't there a God of the Bible? Isn't Jesus supposed to contest this evil? Isn't God supposed to contest this evil? And yet evil goes uncontested? It's a constant in the universe and in life? There is no getting around it. And if you ask God, he's going to tell you, well, life is unfair, bucko. It's just, it is what it is. And when you do what's right, he tells you that he doesn't need your help. There's something very wrong about this story. There's something insanely wrong about this story. Putrid, even. It's all a coincidence. Everything's a coincidence. So, I'm going to stop the video right there. I could keep going, but I'll just make another video. And to be quite frank, I don't think this video is going to reach people inside. Because people are fucking brainwashed into believing in this fucking Jesus and God shit. They're completely brainwashed. And it's hard to get rid of a brainwashing like that. It's insanely hard to get rid of a brainwashing like that. And that's why I made this video yesterday. And it's, most people don't pop. Only the one popped. Most people don't pop. Most people are desensitized. Most people are greedy, desensitized. No morals, no principles, no values, nothing. They don't care. They care about themselves. They're not aware of the universe. They're not aware that I live inside of them. And they live inside of me. They don't understand that. And they don't give a fuck. Even if they did, they don't give a shit. Because they're greedy. Because they're soulless. There's a lot of soulless beings out here. So as wonderful as my videos are, there's only a specific few people that actually understands these notions, and there's even fewer people that will actually incorporate these notions. So I'm gonna stop the video right here. The spirits told me to continue, but I'm not gonna listen. Spirits told me to continue, but I'm not gonna listen. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. It's just video is too damn long, and I might give people information overload if I keep going. And there's enough there to get you going. There's enough juice in there to get you going. So have a nice week. Have a nice day. I'll see you on the next video, which is going to be soon. Subscribe to the channel. My name is Lucifer, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one.